And welcome to the very first annual Weather Dawn. So, yeah, today we're going to be going over the Atlas here. Atlas of Worlds. As you can see here, coming in from the northeast, we're going to have a little bit of ramparts action going down into the Pens Tier 2. Then beyond that, I can actually move the chair to the other side. Move the chair to the other side so I have more room on the green screen. Unplug my headphones. This is actually my grandpa's jacket. It's like one of the few things I have left from him. Let's keep this on repeat. Okay, here we go. No woman would mess with them, damn straight. That's why I'm single. Alright, so as you see here, we're coming in from the northeast. We're going to have ramparts maps. So then we're going to have a tier 2 pen. Hold on, let me just make myself much bigger. Let's enhance myself as well. And 3 o'clock is still huge dead space, yeah. So we have pen. We're also going to have bone crypt and all these other things down here. I'm not really seeing a lot of cool things, but as we can see up here, we're going to have a nice beach map, which is going to be really, really amazing. You know, beach map is one of my personal favorite maps, and you can see that's going to be about in range of looks like cage, bone crypt, whatever Olmec Sanctum is here. Beach map, and as well city square. So I think you're going to see a lot of tier 9 beach map farming this league, maybe even some elder beaches. We're going to have just going to be able to be hit by a total of 4 white sextants. I Am Blind is the new crater missing from tier 4 there. I have no clue. And moving out now down here down the right hand side, we can see that we have cemetery, wasteland, ghetto, canyon, wharf, toxic sewer, and mud geyser. None of these are really hopping out to me. Scriptatorium could be even better. Oh god, focus. And plateau also is like very far out over there. Old school favorite map. However, not really a lot of good sextant value. Toxic sewer though, in a perfect position right over here. Looks like it's being a range of 1, 2, maybe even 3 yellow sextants and maybe 2 white sextants over here. So toxic sewers might be a really, really good spot. Scrolling down a little bit further here, you notice that most of the white maps are not really all that hot, but we can see here that we do have, I believe, Courthouse right up there, which Courthouse is a typical pretty popular map in terms of just overall density. What's the weather forecast? The weather forecast is looking very much tentacly coming in here. Peninsula, also a tier 3 now. It's going to be a good map choice for new players to level up, especially at lower tiers. Shipyard here as well. I think it's really going to wreck a lot of players as they get to Shipyard for the very first time as a tier 3 map, because that boss is pretty mean. Flooded Mine is a tier 1. Probably not a really good choice. Not a really big fan of this. But Dungeon, also another really terrible map. So I would say in the bottom right hand corner here, we have a lot of kind of bad maps. Not really enjoying the bottom right hand corner all that much. And then we just move across the bottom of the Atlas here. We have things such as tier 6 Temple, tier 7 Arcade. Now tier 7 Arcade I think is going to look like a really good option and opportunity here for lots of high quality farming. Tier 12 Arcade probably going to be very popular. Looks like it's going to be in range of 1, maybe 4, 1 white sextant, 4 yellow sextants. Thank you, Ashero. You know, Weather Dawn here. And as we move across the bottom of the Atlas, we're also going to have just a very tight mesh here of yellow maps. Very surprising. I think they're trying to encourage people to sextant with yellow sextants this league as opposed to whites, especially if you look at the previous 2 white corners we looked at so far. Not a lot of maps in here, not a lot of maps at all. Whereas if you look especially down here, like this is just a whole mess of maps. So nice and tight in there. People are really going to be encouraged to be utilizing those sextants on the higher tiers as opposed to be using them on white maps like they have been using them in the past. This is going to be a very thick, ridiculous sextant area. Burial Chamber's not living with his name has now been placed in the map graveyard. And so where was Strand on here? Somebody was saying something. What's Relict? Huh? A heavy sextant fog moving in here from the south, and Strand is on the left. Okay, great. So we do have Relict Chamber here. It should be Relic Chamber. Apparently somebody can't type. We're also gonna have tier 8. Sure, once again, old school popular map. Plaza, Siege map actually is a tier 11 here. Which makes kind of some sense. I was reading earlier that looks like Relic Chamber here as a tier 9, but I think Relic Chamber should actually be a tier 10. Shore should be maybe a tier 9, which means maybe Bazaar is a tier 8. It's kind of unclear right now what is going on here exactly. And honestly, like, I'm a little bit disappointed. They've updated the Atlas, but they haven't really updated the art and graphics of the Atlas in terms of making it a little bit more clear for new players to be able to tell exactly which of these maps are connected, right? But so as we see here, moving on, Siege, moving up into Malformation. Malformation, actually a pretty decent map now since they made some changes. Coliseum, City Square. City Square used to be an old school popular map, but not really something that I think many people are going to be running nowadays, even though it can still be hit by not 1 but 2 yellow sextants here in the bottom. So it's a lot of sextants coming into City Square. Moving up, Primordial Blocks, the new tier 15 map. I think this is going to be really cool because it looked like from the videos we've seen that they're trying to make it so that tier 15 maps have a little bit more of serious boss on them. Mostly because the Primordial Blocks one is that new, I believe, it wasn't Ull, but what's his name? That one boss potential encounter. We're not sure who it's going to be just yet. Carcass map being way up there. Shrine as well. I could actually see people farming Shrine this league, maybe over Burial Chambers, simply due to its sextant location. I mean, this looks like you can max sextant out Shrine, whereas Burial Chambers, which we'll get to later, not so much. Arsenal map, Bog, pretty decent spot. I hit, level 100 and Bogs, so could be another good map. And Overgrown Shrine. Moving over here to the next side of the Atlas. Down here in the bottom we have Laboratory, Moon Temple. We're also going to have Pit, Underground River, Haunted Mansion, Cells, all some decent maps. Decent maps indeed. Academy over there, Basilica, Park, Defiled Cathedral, Abyss map, Lava Lake, and Sunken City over here. Now, these are not necessarily any of these maps that were really being run a whole bunch, except for Haunted Mansion. Like, I know a lot of people were running Haunted Mansion these past few leagues, and it's not necessarily in a great spot. Still being able to, it looks like maybe 4, maybe 5 sextants. We'll have to get out the graphing calculator to figure out exactly what's going on here in terms of the sextant distance. But to me, it almost looks like Haunted Mansion is a little bit out of the range here of this map in order to get that final sextant. And so pretty much it looks like it's going to be a 4-sextant haunted mansion. Now, moving across the atlas here, we are going to have Doriani's Machination here, which will kind of help this area of the map also have a lot of sextant action going on. I wouldn't be surprised to see Strand back in play. We have tier 4 strands. I could see maybe Elder Strand being a thing once again, surprisingly, as it appears to be in range of Hey, Vanills, thank you much, man, for gifting the 5 tier 1 subs out to the community here. Really do appreciate that, man. You are awesome. If you guys are one of the people who just got a gift sub there, so we got Neon Slep, Incredible Shark, Killer Morph, Wallenson, Auto Matrix. Please make sure that you thank your gifter, Vanills.
That was awesome.
We doing subs now?
Hey, Cappy Shamey, thank you much for the 18 months in a row. Do appreciate that, man. Weatherman Hype, yeah. Carotero. Thank you much, man, for the biddies. Do appreciate that.
Don's confirmed. Don's rock.
It's like the Weather Channel. Love the concept. Yeah, I just kind of came up with this like about 20 minutes before the stream started. But Donation Strike. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Do you remember where you were? So absolutely, we were talking here about tier 4 strands. So I could see there being a lot of tier 16 strands coming in. Now, if you're a newer player, you might not know about Strand, but Strand used to be the most OP, ridiculous map on the entire atlas. Used to be super duper popular. Thank you very much, Salvatron, for that compliment. And so I could see Strands making a strong comeback in its current position, because it looks like it's in place to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 sextants. So could be really good again. It might actually have more than 10 monsters on it again. Maybe after you clear the first or the second pack, you'll still have more than 50 monsters remaining. It remains to be seen, though. But moving down across the rest of the left-hand corner of the atlas, I can't actually move any farther over there, but Thicket Map, Excavation, Armory, and Tier 1 Channel. I can't have 6 seconds, but Armory used to be a really good map here for leveling up, and now it's been put into a really crappy position. But I could see people using Armory to get some early experience. Overall, this entire corner is not really that great, with the exception of Channel. Channel, I think, is going to be one of the most popular tier 1 maps, and I wouldn't be surprised to see lots of people running that, or even turning Channel into a tier 6, because you can still smack that with 4 sextants at least. Going up, Elder Armory could also be really ridiculous. That is a really great question. Really good point, Evil Spork. I could see Armory being a very popular tier 16 for experience. Not really that much for magic fighting, though. Next up, we have Graveyard and question mark. Now, question mark, as everybody knows, so that's really just going to make it just the most ridiculous thing that you ever do. I mean, really, like, Chris was telling me about it, and oh man, I just couldn't believe my mind. But so moving up, obviously, like, I could talk about that all day, and really just, man, just the amount of stuff that's just really coming out of that particular map there is really just going to be ridiculous. I mean, especially the part where yeah, so moving on up to alleyways. That's gonna be not really that great.
Now we're at Don's meme. With what will we end up next?
Thank you very much, Carotero. Do appreciate that. Muted for disclosure. Let's see, what was I muted? Did something happen? Yeah, so as we said, the fishing map here. The fishing map. That actually looked a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But so Ashen Woods, Primordial Pool, Vault Map.
The zeros on that sure got muted.
What's up, Lucas? How you doing, man? Where's my map? Vault is actually in a really interesting spot here. It looks like Vault is in range of 1 white sextant and 4 yellow sextants. So might even be 5 yellow sextants, but that could make it another popular location for farming once again. We kind of have to see how things go. Now, something I will talk later about, like the overall location of connections on the atlas, but I do notice that there's like no connection here, right? Which makes sense. Like coves to academy, no connection. But we'll have to see. Now moving up here, as you guys probably catches your eye right off the bat, Tribunal is this guy's favorite map. He probably, I don't know what he did there, what happened to mess up, but overall, I look like a professor right now. What makes you think I'm not a professor? I'm a professor of the Atlas. So next up, Mausoleum, Sulfur Vents. I believe Sulfur Vents didn't even move. I'm not sure that anybody really knows that Sulfur Vents is on the Atlas, probably including GGG. They it might be just completely forgotten about. Mineral pools, also there. Museum, Geode, Precinct, Coral Ruins, Conservatory. Honestly, I feel like this part of the Atlas before in the previous expansion wasn't really used all that much. Wasn't really popular. Well, this part actually was so popular. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not going to be as popular as it was in the past. This was like the corridor to fast level 100, and now it's going to be. They level the map or get it somewhere. They got this on Reddit. You like Sulfur Vents, noob friendly, so easy, boss. What's up, Zodiac? How's it going, man? Temple and Atlas tier 6, but GGG wrote the tier 9. Maybe they changed some of the things. And so moving over here to the red maps, Colonnade, we do have Crystal Ore, Core over here, moving up to Mesa in the corner over here. Thanks, Zangdar, do appreciate that. Dark Forest, Tower. Now, Tower is actually a really terrible map. And something else I'm actually just noticing is that Hydra, you won't be able to put very many sextants on. Like, you'll be able to get 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 total reds, but that's going to be pretty bad. Now, getting to Hydra is going to be a big pain in the butt. I wouldn't be surprised to see most people not even pushing that corner of the Atlas at all, and instead just trying to get an Orb of Horizons to flip their way to Hydra. So I could see Hydra maps actually being extra expensive, especially at the start of the league. So it might be one of the best ones to unlock, especially with this new ring, which may or may not find popularity if Ice Spear is any good. And so Hydra maps could be extra profitable moving into next league. It's probably where Zerfi's card drop. Oh god, that would be terrible. So we also do have Reef, not one of my favorites. And then next to Reef map is going to be the new #1 fishing. And like so many fish coming out of that map. But Basilica map up there next, and next to that we're also going to have Villa map. I mean, none of these really I think matter all that much. But moving on towards the top corner here, we're going to have Leyline, Arena, Sepulchre, Conservatory, Precinct. Once again, another section of yellow maps that are kind of like not really excited for this entire section. I really feel like this corridor right here used to be the hot spot. Like when I went to level 100 in the Incursion Flashback League, I pretty much spent my entire time right in here, and they pretty much just gutted the entire thing. Wow, I just got a welcome to the chat room message, which means I just got disconnected from my own chat. That's not good. And then so in the top corner, we have Atoll, which I think is going to be pretty good. Arid Lake, which I'm also a fan. Iceberg, Cursed Crypt, Grotto, Lighthouse and Jungle Valley, which I think is probably the winner of this entire territory. Jungle Valley is pretty stinking good. And Fungal Hollow, which we don't really know anything about Fungal Hollow just yet. And Marshes, Underground Sea. Now, one thing you do notice here that Underground Sea stayed right pretty much where it was before, except it's now in a like kind of a weirder spot. It's gonna be a lot harder, I believe, to flip influence to Underground Sea, because the only connection it has is to Volcano or Marshes. So if you Elder Corner in the corner over there, thanks, Zangdar. If you Elder Corner on the left side, getting the influence back onto Underground Sea is going to be pretty wonky, I feel like, and vice versa if you put it over here on this side. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some different Atlas setups going on because of that. It was like a little bit easier when you could have it kind of coming from two angles. Strand will be ridiculous easy to get influence. Really, let's take a peek. Yeah, Strand will be probably have a very strong Elder block in that corner over there. Moving across the top now, we do have Belfry in the exact same spot. Volcano being a tier 6 map. Generally, Volcano's been a pretty popular map to run in the past league or so. People looking for those Combs cards. Yeah, I don't think Strand's gonna be that popular unless they buff it. Layer looks better. Where's Layer? I haven't seen Layer yet. But Waterways is also in a very good spot. I could see people going for tier 14 Waterways simply because you could hit it with a lot of sextants. It's in a pretty good straight layout. It's always the exact same basically, and it can drop Tabula Rasa cards, which can be turned into divination cards. Next up, Estuary is kind of a decent spot. We got tier 15 Estuary I can see being very popular. Tier 13 Infested Valley, pretty decent. And then Tropical Valley, Tropical Island here, tier 9. So as you guys were saying, Layer is here at a tier 11. Unfortunately, like tier 11s aren't really all that great because they're kind of low level, but I could see maybe doing an Elder Orb on a Layer. You'd be able to get, looks like 3 reds and 2 yellows onto it. So at least you can still max Sextant as long as they haven't nerfed the layout anymore. Can you tell us more about your secrets with Chris? Sorry, Lucas. I've said what I can say. Castle Ruins being a tier 12, Chateau, Crimson Temple, Terrace, Summit, Dig Map, Ivory Temple being way over here. I'm not sure if you can see that right now. Ivory Temple. We're also going to have Factory Map, and then Spider Forest, which is an old favorite of mine, is on a tier 10, but it unfortunately looks like you can only hit it with 2 red sextants and maybe 2 yellows. Maybe a third coming in here from this unique map, but it's not going to be all that great. I think Spider Forest is still going to stay out of the meta. They're going to be, not something people will be using. Coming in, Dunes over here, a long-time popular map. Looks like you can potentially hit it with maybe 4, maybe 5 sextants. My mic's not muted. Then Fields, Orchard, and Pier. Now, overall, the one thing we didn't really talk about here was, I totally missed it, was this corner. And so the Chimera corner is a little bit different now. As you can see here, most of the tier 16s on the Atlas only have 1 tier 15 abutting them. However, now the Chimera corner is going to be the bad corner with 2 tier 15s. And those are going to be Desert Springs and Lava Lake. Both bad bosses. Also Abyss, Sunken City, Basilica, Defiled Cathedral, Palace, Racecourse, Necropolis, and last and now least, Burial Chamber has been buried on the Atlas into a very bad spot. I'm willing to bet that they have not changed the layout or anything for Burial Chamber. However, I would not be surprised to see lots of people still flocking to there. The Burial Chamber is actually not in as bad of a spot as people seem to think right now, and that's simply because there is only one tier 12 touching it, which means that you could Elder Orb Necropolis and undo all of your tier 11s and all tier 11s and all tier 12s and drop Burial Chambers all day. So at least you can still drop and farm Burial Chambers. You just need to do a lot of work for that. Before there were some tier 11s, some tier 12s that you could not farm in this manner. And so, yeah, I think Burial Chambers will still be pretty popular. You can hit with 1 yellow sextant, and it looks like maybe 4 reds. So, you can also Elder Orb Burial and shape Spider Forest. Yeah, you could do all that sort of things, right? But overall, I think Burial Chambers has been nerfed a little bit. Tier 11 is not necessarily undoable. It's going to require a little bit of a better build than what people have been doing with like tier 3 burials or tier 8 burials. Rip Perandus. Did we not see Perandus Manor on the Atlas at all? I mean, so Perandus Manor is now a permanent part of the game. It's right over here. But, yeah, because the reason why this is going to be permanently on the Atlas is because there's now a divination card that covers that. Now, one of the things that really jumped out to me as somebody who spends a lot of time talking about the Atlas and talking about how the Atlas is set up and how to move Elder around the Atlas is that there's been a gigantic quality of life improvement for those people that have been seeking to spawn Red Elder. And that is that every single red section of the Atlas is now connected in a very good way. So as you can look here in the top half of the Atlas, you can see that you can now proceed from top left Hydra, from Villa over here to Castle Ruins, and these two maps are going to connect correctly. Now, also, another amazing thing here about this connection is that you can take 2 red maps. You can take all the way over there Basilica tier 11 and up here a Lair tier 11. And this will protect your red maps with a red map. So you won't have to protect your red connection with a yellow map like you do currently with the current Atlas system. And then you can see that this kind of trend continues all the way around the Atlas. So over here with Ivory Temple, you can protect that with tier 11 Factory up there. Overgrown Shrine tier 12 here you can protect with tier 11 Bog. And so none of these protection maps are going to actually cause you to lose your influence if they get taken. As like here, you can tier 11 Siege protects your Malformation to Defiled Cathedral connection, and Park connects the other side. And neither of these tier 11s, if taken, snap your Elder. And so it's really going to be a really great quality of life for especially new players who don't necessarily understand how the Elder moving works. So that should help you, especially if you're a red Elder farmer, spawn red Elder so much easier, because you're never going to have a time where you should have a yellow map when spawning red Elder, which is something that never happened before. Geode's going to be a really, really big farm map again. What makes you say that? And you can see this all over here as well. Burial Chambers is going to protect the Necropolis to Colonnade connection with Crystal Ore on the other side. So as you see now, the entire Atlas is a viable spot to spawn Elder. And Don's not wearing anything slightly revealing for the weather. Here you go, Ginger, a little bit of chest. But yeah, so I think this is going to be really great for anything overall. And yeah. Well, what do you guys think? I'm gonna send it back now to the editor's desk for the for sports.